Hello, my name is Janine from South Africa, from the lovely Afrikaans ministry at eindelikwhoop.com. Make yourself a lekker cup of coffee or tea, and if you live in South Africa, grab yourself a warm blanket because it's currently very chilly here. And join me in my living room for our coffee chat. Before I do my coffee chats, I first seek my darling Heavenly Husband to please lead me what He wants me to chat about. And of course, before the coffee chat, I pray for you, for each one listening to this podcast, that He will bless you and give you a message, even if you don't have a child with special needs, that somewhere in this podcast, the Lord will give you a message. And this morning, before doing this podcast, I thought, wow, isn't the Lord so wonderful? Doesn't He work in mysterious ways? Because so many of us keep our hurt and trauma bottled up somewhere in our hearts. And not only is He using these coffee chats to talk to somebody out there, He is also using it to heal me. Because, yes, of course, I've got hurt, pain that I keep somewhere in my heart that I'd rather forget about. But with these coffee chats, He's bringing it up to bring healing into my life. So relax and listen. This morning, I was reminded of a memory in 2017. And by the way, in 2016, I had received a restored marriage, remarried my earthly husband, and received what I had prayed for and all I ever wanted. And that's what I thought it was all that I ever needed. And my son had to undergo a huge operation in 2017. And you can go and listen more where I chat about his special needs on that eindelikwhoop.com blog. And the doctor decided to operate him and fix 39 places on his body, from the right arm down to the right foot. Every part. He had so many stitches because he was walking on his toes, he was limping, and she had warned if somebody would bump him by mistake, his hip would go out, and that would be such a bigger operation later then. So she even put a metal pin in his foot, and he was put in casts of it after that, because he couldn't even put his foot 90 degrees. He was totally walking on his toes. And the leg was going shorter. The foot didn't grow like it was supposed to. He didn't even have a heel anymore. And he had to be in a wheelchair, of course, after that. He was 7 hours under anesthetic. And I remember when he came out of theater, when they helped him in his room, they asked me to leave the room because he was even struggling to breathe. But luckily they allowed me to sit 24 hours next to his bed. And I remember thinking back now, I really tried to do everything in my own strength. At that time, it wasn't going well in my marriage. I do think my earthly husband couldn't handle the stress. He looked for his peace in the world. And again, I was also not doing the right thing. I didn't look for my strength in my first love. And I was sent home with him, being in a wheelchair, struggling to move around with the wheelchair in the house. I had to pick him up to go to the bathroom, and everything just felt too much. And remember, not looking for my strength in the Lord. I had a puppy at that time. She also fell sick, and she was admitted to an animal hospital. I remember them phoning me in the morning hours and telling me she was struggling to breathe. And I just shouted out, "No, please, I beg you, save my puppy." And an hour later, when they phoned me, I knew what the phone call was about, and they told me she had died. My whole world came crumbling down. I, I cried like crazy, and yes, feeling upset with the Lord for taking my puppy and sitting with a sick child, trying to keep everything together, but again, in my own strength. And I remember even when I had to pick my child up from school, I got him into the car. And by the way, I've got a small car. So wheelchairs are big also. I tried to pick up the wheelchair, not thinking, putting my arms through the wheels. I pinched myself like crazy, started crying, and my child sitting there in the car said, "Mom, wait, I'm going to come and help you." And I said, "No, just sit." I got into the car, and driving away there, I just broke down. Everything felt too much. But listen, the beautiful testimony that came out of this whole painful episode. Previously, the specialist had said that his right leg is going to be shorter than the left leg because it didn't grow like it was supposed to. But that operation she was going to do much later. And that's also a big operation because they put metal pins through the leg, trying to stretch the leg. There, I had asked the Lord to please not let me go through that and my son not go through that. And we went to the physiotherapist and I asked her to please measure his legs because after the casts came out, he had to go for physiotherapy every week. And she let him lie on the bed and I saw the legs were the same length. And she moved him around and I saw again the legs were the same length. Later going to the specialist, I asked her, please can she also check because see how many centimeters the leg was shorter. I think still not believing, wow, this was happening. And she measured, she called me and she said, come and look here. His legs are the same length. And I said, but is that possible? And she said, no, this is a miracle. And wow, all because of the Lord. He did this miracle. The doctors fixed, but still the Lord showed. He's in control of everything. And I do believe the Lord could have fixed my son's body before the operation, but still he allowed it. He allowed the pain. He allowed the whole operation for a bigger purpose. And sitting here, I was thinking, who do we run to? I didn't run to the Lord, and I know today, if I had run to the Lord, the pain would have probably still been there, but I would have been in peace. Because let me tell you, I wasn't that time in peace. And if I look back, it had changed my heart. Because I've got more compassion with parents with kids in wheelchairs now. And something I also want to mention here, in South Africa, there's disabled parkings. And they're closer to the shops, they're bigger, so it's much more comfortable to stop on the disabled parkings. But a lot of times people will stop there without having somebody in the car that is disabled, just for the comfort of it. So if somebody's listening here and you doing it, I believe you're not going to do it afterwards, because I remember not getting a parking on the disabled parking that time when my son was in a wheelchair. Can I tell you, it's a struggle to get your child out of the car between two cars because you have to push the wheelchair there in. My child was in casts, in pain. So you struggle. And I believe if somebody's listening here doing it, you're not going to do it anymore. And the Lord allows pain in our lives for such a bigger purpose, changing our hearts little by little. So where do we run to? Let's run to the Lord with every part of us. Then at least we're going to experience peace in the midst of pain. That peace that surpasses all understanding. Thank you so much for making the time to listen to me. Please visit thattheeindelijkhoop.com blog for daily encouragement and a restored marriage testimony every Saturday. Thank you till the next time.